Well, Justin, we just had Paddy Pimblett in here, and he said that he's going to give you a beat down the likes of which you've never received, and that you're going to be physically not the same after this fight. Curious if you take anything from those comments, or is it just, hey, it's fight week and this is what we do?
Yeah, certainly take nothing from those comments. It's 25 minutes in time. Right now, what he's saying right now does not matter. All that tells me is hopefully he's going to be overconfident, and the last thing you can do in this sport is have false confidence. He'd be crazy to think that and not know that I'm one of the most dangerous guys he's ever fought. I've been in scheduled for a 5-round fight at least 20 times in my career. Certainly not the same for him. It's a different ballgame.
Do you think that's something that he can't really be prepared for, right? Because he's never been in a 5-round fight at this level. There's no way he could ever have that experience before now. So do you think that's just something he can't really mentally prepare for?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. He hasn't been there. Again, out of my 26 or 31 fights, I've been scheduled for at least 20 times for 5 rounds. So it's different training, different mindset, different tactics. When you're fighting, I want to take him to the 4th and 5th round, and I want to do the same thing, turn his face into minced meat, and I've done it before, done it to higher caliber fighters, but this guy has a lot of momentum right now, a lot of confidence, and those are some of the most dangerous variables that I will be facing when I step in there.
You mentioned before in a couple of interviews I've seen you do that you want to take him to the 4th and 5th round. Is that just because that's where you think you will have the experience advantage and success, or is it something that you kind of want to put Paddy through the ringer that you've been put through a few times?
No, I just trust in my training. You know, I train at elevation. If I'm tired, I know they're really tired, and I know how hard he's going to be trying, so he's going to be exhausted when we get to those rounds. If you watch my previous fights that were 3-round fights, Michael Chandler, Rafael Fiziev, those were close fights on paper, but if they went to the 4th and 5th round, I would have hurt them very badly, and that's what I'm hoping I can do this Saturday.
Yeah, you have a keen eye for the sport and a good mind for it. When you look at Paddy, right, the criticism of him is that the guys he's beaten have been over the hill or past their prime and stuff like that. So there's this question about how good Paddy really is. Yeah. When you look at him, how good do you think he is?
I think he's really good. I think the sport is crazy. I think anything can happen at any moment. And I think all the people that have those opinions have never taken the risks that we take. A bunch of cowards that just like to talk. And I don't care what people say about him. I know that he's dangerous. I know that he's confident, and again, those are two huge variables. It's a constant battle for momentum, and I'm going to have to take it early and keep it. And if I do face adversity, I got to come back and show him that I am a vet. I am the most dangerous guy that he has ever fought.
You talk about adversity and coming back from it. Famously, when you first won the interim title, you sort of didn't want to. You didn't threat. Do you look at this one differently because you've had to come back from setbacks and all that sort of stuff?
I don't think throwing the belt on the cage will be as effective as it was the first time, so I definitely won't be doing that. But as I'm older, I'm wiser, and I understand that an interim belt is the same exact thing as an undisputed belt on paper for my pay, and it certainly gives me the biggest fight possible next. And so this is huge. This is huge for my legacy, huge for my career. I love that I got knocked out by Max Holloway. That's what has people doubting me more. That's what has, that's where a lot of the criticism comes from. And I think that happening is going to make this final chapter so much more blissful for myself and for my coaches and my family.
Justin, right here. You said like just a couple of minutes ago that like you don't know what you've never experienced when talking about like Paddy fighting a 5-round fight. This is, I think, what your 4th title fight or interim title fight you've prepared for. So is there anything that you took away from those camps that you changed this time around? Like, because I know the last few that you were a little compromised before the Charles fight because of the bike accident. So in terms of just preparation, any changes? Yeah,
I mean, definitely not riding bikes. Definitely have not ridden bikes lately. But no, ultimately, one mistake I've made is trying to, when I'm successful, I try to recreate, that experience. And you can't do that. Every one of these fights is such a unique experience and a new experience. And so to try to take things that made me successful last time and implement them this time will keep me away from naturally being where I'm at and being where I'm supposed to be. And so I'm just taking it one fight. I've taken it one fight at a time since the beginning. I am still doing that. and it's been a hell of a ride. I'm blessed to have been given such huge opportunities by the company. This is a huge opportunity to be the main event red corner of the first Paramount card. It's huge, and I know that they trust me. I know that I'm the most consistent guy, most exciting guy, and that's probably why I'm here.
And on your YouTube channel, I saw one of your coaches say that he felt like your whole team kind of hit it on the head with this shorter camp. It wasn't like a long, drawn-out camp. And this is probably one of the better Justins we've seen in quite a long time. So I'm curious, do you feel that same way?
I mean, I do. I feel amazing. I feel as good as ever, but any fight that you ask me that, I'm going to say that. So, I mean, I do think I have made the correct choices to be as prepared as I can be. After the physique fight, I knew a huge fight was coming, and so I stayed on the nutrition. And, I feel like I am in the best shape of my life. And I'm just as hungry, I got just as much fire in my spirit. And I'm ready to perform. I love to show off. So I can't wait to be in the arena and put it on the line. I get to walk into the fire. Not many people know what that feels like. I wish every one of you could feel what I'm going to feel on Saturday without the danger, being there, but that's just not the case. And that's what makes it so exciting is the danger. So I'm pumped.
We also saw you compete at Fanatics Fest since your last fight. So I guess what was that experience like, and what'd you do with the car that you won?
Yeah, I turned the car into money. I took the money. It was the best money I've ever made, not getting punched in the face by far. But yeah, I'm an athlete, still an athlete. There was 100 people, and I took second place. Unfortunately, I honestly performed terribly. Could not believe I took second place, but the golf is what separated the men from the boys, so I'm glad I've been golfing so much.
Justin, a lot of talk about, you saying what you said earlier, this could be the last run, kind of the stakes that are attached to this, and your mindset towards fighting has just been so unique and interesting to follow throughout your career. Is part of kind of like putting that on this fight, part of that mentality, like knowing there's no going back from this, it's all needs to be forward from here?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would be a fool to think that this is the beginning. This is certainly not the beginning. And they're definitely not going to let me fight for a belt 6 times. So, and my goal was to fight for the belt and win the belt. And so this is everything I've asked for. But I don't think I can't really think like that. I can't process, emotions like that. It's just right now, right here. I'm very prepared. I trust in my preparation. And that allows me to not be scared, because I'm okay with the worst possible outcome, because I know I will give max effort. And I know that I gave max effort this whole camp. I know that I will have my support system around me no matter what happens. And it allows me to go out there and just be free and enjoy the moment.
Paddy has said from day one of coming into the UFC, Scousers can't get knocked out. How much are you looking forward to proving that wrong?
Yeah, you don't have to be a doctor to know that if you have a brain, you can get shut off if I just shake it. And so I'll show him, if I could shake his head and make his brain touch his skull, he's going to go to sleep.
And I know you said your perfect world is to fight Ilia Topuria at the White House lawn. Your manager mentioned maybe Conor McGregor could be in play with Dana White saying Michael Chandler.
Nothing. Who knows?
Does that appeal to you at this point, though?
I'll be here on Sunday. The one thing that appeals to me right now is knocking the Scouser out and representing America, and that's what I'm here to do.
Thank you, Justin.
Hey, Justin, over here.
Whatever a Scouser is.
Hey, Justin, you recently been talking about retirement online. Say you get the win come Saturday. How many more fights do you think we could see?
Where did you see me talking about retirement online?
I saw it online. People were talking about you saying that.
Never talked about it. I said if I didn't get the fight that I wanted and I felt like I deserved, I might retire. But none of that matters now. I'm here. I got what I wanted. Interim belt is the same as an undisputed belt on paper, and it gives me the chance to fight 100% fight for the championship next. So it's everything I asked for.
Okay.
But how many fights I have left? No fucking clue. One at a time.
Justin, over here. You followed a family tradition of working at a copper mine the summer when you were 18 years old. How much of your work ethic do you attribute to your lessons from working there?
Yeah, I mean, more so watching my parents, my dad work there is where I've taken the lessons that, it doesn't matter how how blessed you think you are, how, you can never look at yourself as a victim. Life is hard. Life's a competition. And he showed me that you have to show up every day. I don't know that he took one sick day his entire 37 and a half years in that mine. Same with my mother working for the United States Postal Service. My parents showed me how to overcome and move forward. And it was just by taking it one day at a time, being, they were nice. Now I have to be mean, but, it's just work ethic, Never looking at yourself as a victim, always trying to overcome the obstacles, being petty as fuck, which I am, and I wouldn't be here if I wasn't, with how much opinions people have. But working in the mine, it just really, I knew it wasn't for me. As stable as it is, as good of a living as you make. If I would have worked, I worked 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. I did it for 68 days straight. If I would have done that my first year out of high school, I would have probably made like $140,000 and with no days off, which would have sucked. But I knew it wasn't for me. It was, and nothing against my father or both of my grandfathers, my brother, all my cousins that do work there. But I knew I was not necessarily destined for something bigger or better, but something different. And that's why I went to school for human services, mostly because of the parents I had. I know that everybody's not lucky enough to have that, and I wish that was the case, because we'd be in a lot better situation as a society. But I knew I could probably be that for somebody and for at-risk youth. And so that's why I studied and went to school for what I went to school for. And I knew I wasn't gonna. The goal was to have a job where I could wake up at whatever time I wanted to every day, and thank God I accomplished that.
Justin, you're always super respectful to all the fighters you fight with, but with Paddy, it seems a little bit different. Is it personal for you, or you just worry about the time?
No, I've had no animosity towards him, other than the fact that he is my opponent, and him saying he wants to. So when I was his age, I learned there's no reason for me to fuel their fire. And so, there's no reason for me to talk shit about him and to make him, he's petty too. We don't get here unless we're petty. And so I don't want to light that fire under his ass. Him saying he's going to retire me, love it. I love that I'm the underdog. This is my 15th fight in the UFC. I've been an underdog 10 times out of the 14 fights that I have had. This will be 11 for 14. And it's just a testament to the level of competition that I have constantly faced. From day one, number 5 Michael Johnson, and till today. So I'm pumped. It's been a crazy ride. There's so many statistics that I've accomplished that get overlooked, that when I'm done writing this book, it's going to be amazing.
If you get the win on Saturday, who would you want to fight next?
Yeah, so if I get the win on Saturday, I will have the interim championship, and that automatically gives you a fight versus the champion, which is Ilia Topuria. We do not know how long his personal situation is going to keep him out of this sport, and so I prefer him in June, because June is when I want to fight on the White House card. If he's not ready, then I want the winner of the Oliveira and Holloway fight.
Justin, it's been over 5 years since your first interim title fight against Tony Ferguson. What's changed, and what are the biggest differences as you prepare to face Paddy?
Not much has changed. There's not many differences. This is the craziest sport in the world. I fell in love with it as a child. And, the evolution of the sport is through the athlete, but the UFC is the same. And these fights are the same.
Has your relationship with MMA changed throughout the years compared to your UFC debut against Michael Johnson?
I would say so, especially with the media. I've become a lot less inclined to talk to you guys for different reasons.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Hey, Justin. It's been talked about how much money you've made in performance bonuses in your UFC career. I'd like to ask, what's the smartest thing you ever did with that performance bonus money? And could you tell us maybe something you wish you did differently with some of the money?
Oh man, to have 14 bonuses and not equal up to $1 million, it's not right. It's not right. It should be a lot more than that. And I should have had opportunities to do smarter things with my money, but I don't, and I haven't. And to this day, everyone's, I hear Daniel Cormier saying that everybody's going to get paid more on this card. I'm not getting $1 more than I would have if this deal did not happen. I'm happy to have achieved what I have achieved. The best thing I did is probably invest in a commercial property. I purchased a house in Arizona that's like a mile away from my parents. My sister is renting that from me now. But really just being able to help my family, help my parents, help my brothers and sisters, give them Christmas gifts that I never would have been able to give them, take them on vacations that I would have never been able to. That's the smartest thing I did, because you can never get that time back with your family. And so, it's huge for me.
Thank you very much.
Justin, you've said that you don't know how many fights you have left. After the James Vick fight, you told me you had 5 wars left.
Yeah.
How many wars do you think you have left now?
Well, I would say the Oliveira fight was a war. The Holloway fight was a war. Chandler, maybe. He rocked me in the first round. But outside that, I haven't got my marbles knocked around outside of those 3 fights. So I guess I have 2 left.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.